it's amazing to me how healing it feels to be singing with other people and also just how natural when you do it, at least for me, it just feels like, oh, yes, like this is what humans are supposed to do. It just feels like immediately kind of locking into this memory of the way that we're supposed to be in social relationship to ourselves. Welcome to Cosmic Clowns, a podcast about exploring consciousness, surviving chaos, and finding the comedy in it all. I am Jocelyn K. Glei. I am a writer, an energy worker, a tree lover, a sun worshiper, and a Gemini baby who is about to be 49 years old.
Whoa. And I'm Sabane Selassie. I'm a writer and teacher, a sky gazer, an ocean swimmer, and an artist formerly known as a Dharma teacher. And today we are going to explore vibes, particularly the vibration of singing and song, the healing and also the joy that can come from allowing ourselves to experience the true power of the vibes that can move through our body through music. So, Jocelyn, before we dive into vibes, how are you doing today?
Well, I am a bit tremulous, perhaps. I have been really activated the past, I guess, 2 months now, just feeling like my nervous system is really raw and kind of vulnerable and exposed. And I've been thinking about to invite the cosmic in the fact that Uranus at the end of April just moved into Gemini. And for those who aren't, too down with what Uranus is up to, it only moves signs about every 7 years. So it's a big event. And for me, Gemini is in the 6th house, which is the house of work and also the house of the body. And Gemini also symbolizes the nervous system. And Uranus symbolizes disruption and electricity and breakthroughs and insights. And it really feels like I am having this sensation of almost like as if there's just way more charge kind of running through my system. There's this kind of brightness. Yeah, it feels very, very kind of foreign and, I feel a little overstimulated and a little dysregulated sometimes. And so I'm just kind of trying to figure out how to work with that. And I was actually talking to a friend the other day who's having very kind of similar experience. And so we're just kind of wondering about, is it the astrology? Is it something happening in the collective? Is it just us? Is it perimenopause? Like we don't, who knows, all of these things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's I've never quite been in this physical state before. So it's kind of an interesting thing to try and figure out how to navigate it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how about you?
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing?
I thank you for sharing that and being so honest and vulnerable. I'm doing pretty good. I came back from retreat earlier this week. I was on a Black Spirituals and Protest Songs Buddhist retreat, which I'm sure will figure into our conversation about music and vibrations.
Yes.
So that felt really nourishing and fortifying. And yeah, lots of fun things on the horizon, teaching, hanging out with people, and very happy that there are blue skies and sunshine today in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Yeah, but all's pretty well over here.
Yeah, I'm so happy about the sun. The sun has been saving me. I, as you know, moved really recently, and right off to my right here, I have two sets of double sliding glass doors that face east. And so in the morning, I just get this direct sunlight pouring in, which is really different from where I used to live. And it just feels so healing. Me and my dog Pablo are both in the morning, just like in little sun patches, just like soaking it up.
That's
Like,
great.
oh, so good.
That's really great.
Yeah. So what is What's feeling really kind of salient to you as you come out of this retreat where you were sitting and you were singing and you were connecting to traditional songs, all of these things?
Yeah, I was just writing about this for my newsletter for this weekend that I used to teach with a friend of mine, Brian Lesage, and he introduced me to this um, Buddhist scholar of primarily Cambodian Buddhism named Trent Walker, and he studies these particular Khmer Dharma songs that are really intense, and they sound like they could be ancient chants, but they're actually modern. They grew
Mm,
out of the war and the genocide in Cambodia, and the Khmer tradition um, kind of created these songs to help process that pain. So
wow.
they're very intense, vibratory songs.
Mm,
And the practice, Trent Walker calls it stirring and stilling,
ooh,
because you actually use the sound to stir and kind of unearth these emotions and this trauma and grief, and then you still. And the
mm,
the power of these songs is that they're Dharma teachings. So they're songs about suffering and
mm,
liberation, and the causes of suffering and clinging and all these things that are deep Dharma teachings, but they're vibratory. And so I was always struck by that. After Brian introduced it, we taught about it a little bit and shared these songs when we would teach together, and there are English translations of the songs as well that Trent Walker sings, so you can actually understand what's happening, what's being taught.
mm,
And I was thinking a lot about that, particularly this retreat. This is a retreat I've done before. Um, it's with a scholar, Dr. Melanie Harris, and who's a minister, and another minister, Reverend Joshua Brian Campbell, who's also a musician, and they're both singers, but Joshua is also a composer and choir director. And these songs that come from the African American tradition, Black spirituals and protest songs that come from work songs from enslaved peoples. Um, and so they're often interpretations of Bible stories that orient towards freedom. So they're when you hear the lyrics and sing the songs, you're really in this um, teaching around suffering and liberation, but the vibratory nature of the songs, and then also the movement and dance and um, energy that comes with the song as well, and then to sit from there
mm,
to actually be in meditative practice. The songs themselves are meditations, as are the Khmer Dharma songs, but to sort of combine this stirring and stilling, or this singing and sitting, I feel like is a really powerful,
mhm,
often missed perspective in a Western Buddhist context, and generally in a lot of Western practice of meditation in general. Like
mm,
there isn't sort of this attention to the body.
mhm,
Um, and so there might be like talk of uh, bringing awareness to the body,
mhm,
but
right.
there isn't the integration of the body into practice.
And so are you, like, standing and dancing and singing these songs
Also,
and then
sometimes,
sitting,
yeah,
or what is it like, what does it kind of physically look like?
it kind of varies, So it's not that it follows one prescription
Sure.
or one sort of formula, but there is the combination of singing and sitting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that metaphor of stirring and
Stilling.
stilling.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it's just bringing to mind as I was, thinking about vibration and sound and healing, um, this really cool piece I saw in a magazine a while ago. It's a video piece about, someone who had gone down and during, plant medicine ceremonies in the Amazon, they had, recorded some of the Icaros, the medicine songs that the shamans sing, and then they, played them, and they they recorded what the songs did to the bowl of water, so what the vibrations of the songs did in the bowl of water, and, of course, they form these, like, very specific, like, geometric patterns, that kind of change throughout the course of the song, and so it's so interesting, like, to see the healing vibrations of song, like, kind of translated and, visualized in such a clear and direct way, and just thinking about, of course, that our bodies are 60-ish percent water, right? That you could kind of start to see, oh, wow, like, this is bringing some kind of specific, you know, order or even ordered, like, disruption through vibration into the system, and, like, that's how the songs are, actually, like, working on the body, and it's just so cool to have that kind of very clear, visualization of that.
Yeah, and the like we kind of need that as in the same way that
Right,
we
removed
need
as
the
we are.
like yeah, in the same way we need the like, scientific studies about the fact that meditation rewires our
It works.
brains or yeah,
Right, that Reiki
all this
works, like
yes. And that is helpful. I don't, I'm joking and I'm not joking. Like it is really helpful for the way our minds work to have this kind of evidence or data that helps us believe a little more so that we actually engage. Because the problem I think for some of us is that we don't have the habit of engaging in things like meditation or stillness or music because and dancing, as we've sort of lost those what used to be very natural communal practices like people
Yeah,
coming and singing together or people coming and dancing together. And I often think about the fact that everybody danced. In their folk cultures and their kind of
mhm,
ethnic cultures dances, but even in like mainstream culture, more people danced before than now in a very general sense.
yeah.
Now like people are doing TikTok dances, the kids are getting into dancing in a different way, but there isn't sort of like the American bandstand culture of like
Mhm,
where it was really common for people to social dance or
yeah,
for everyone to know how to dance.
yeah,
There's still so many people now who have such a discomfort in their bodies. When I teach meditation party with my friends Dan and Jeff at Omega every fall, we have a dance party on Saturday night, and Saturday afternoon. Part of our session is introducing whoever the guest DJ is, who's also a Dharma teacher, um, and the we ask them to sort of talk about like how do we become more comfortable in our bodies because there's so
mhm,
many people who don't want to come to the dance party
mhm,
because they
mhm,
they came there to meditate and they're not
right,
comfortable, but we we
yeah,
we just talk about like what is that, what is
mhm,
that tendency for us to be so locked in our bodies that we can't allow the vibration to move us,
yeah, yeah,
or we're only dance in very particular situations with, our friends after we've had a couple of glasses of wine or
mhm,
a gummy or, whatever it is
yeah.
that allows us to release some of that fear that
Oh my god. And
keeps us
conditioning,
from,
like,
yeah, the
no one
conditioning
was
is
dancing in
deep.
my house when I grew up, like,
Me
at
neither.
all. And I don't
Hmm.
know if you and I have talked about it, but I went I went on, like, a mission in I guess it was probably in my 30s to, like, learn how to dance sober. First, I just, like, had to learn how to dance. I never danced when I grew up, you know what I mean? Like, no one in my family was dancing. And then, I could dance, but I could only dance, like, when I was intoxicated. And so I had, like, a period where I would just, like, go out to, like, clubs, but I would be totally sober, which was, like, kind of a hilarious experience. But I would just go by myself, and I was, like, really determined to not only be able, to access that part of my body, in an intoxicated state, And now it feels, very, very normal to me, but it was like a quite a long, at least a decades long or multi-decade long process to kind of um, get there. And yeah, it's that kind of rigidity that is baked into aspects of the culture in certain ways is so unfree, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely affects white culture,
Yeah.
like heavily. But not only, like, I
Hmm.
think that there's a lot of it that is very patriarchal, that shows up in lots of different cultures and different religions. In my case, like both my parents come from families, different Christian traditions. My dad's dad was Lutheran, and my were converted to Lutheranism. My mom's dad was Orthodox Ethiopian, and neither of them allowed dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Lutherans didn't dance in that context, but Ethiopian Orthodox people did. But
Hmm.
for whatever reason, I don't know why, my grandfather didn't allow it. And there was
Mm.
this the energy of like the erotic and the feminine that was in dance that was definitely being pushed away.
Hmm.
But I've experienced that also. I was in a training program once, and there was an older Indian man in the program who grew up Hindu, and he also kind of was like one time we were doing a talent show, and he discouraged us from dancing in particular ways. He didn't want us to move our hips too much, or
Hmm.
he felt like that wasn't very Buddhist of us. And we were like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. But, you see that around the
Yeah.
world, this sort
Hmm.
of control of the body and
Hmm.
very prescribed movements of, what's allowed and what's allowed where and for whom.
Hmm.
Um, so that's very strong. But again, especially in white culture, and by that I mean no culture, because it's not coming from particular white people's ancestral cultures,
Yeah.
which
Right.
all had dance, right? But it's coming from this kind of dominant
Hmm.
white overculture or anti-culture. Um, there's such like a shutdown of the body,
Yeah.
so much so that I remember Kagu Haza, who I don't remember where he wrote about this, but it's when he's a writer and community activist, peace activist who um, wrote an essay, and that's how I first became aware of him, because he was talking about how um, like how whiteness shows up as like trauma in the hips, of like this
Mm.
inability to be able to like move the hips. And it I think he later kind of said that that was too harsh, or he's
Mm.
not sure if he believes that anymore, but there is some truth in that, like that constriction in the body,
Mhm. Mhm.
and how much else it's shutting down, you
Mm.
know?
Yeah, well, when we carry, just culturally, like in my own experience, with myself and working with other people, like we carry so much in the hips, like there's so much that's held there, and is that, yeah, like connected to what you're talking about, right? That the loss of like the ritual, the loss of dance. And it's amazing to me when I sometimes I start my day, and I haven't been able to lately because I've been having kind of a hard time, but just start my day by like playing a song and dancing in the kitchen. And whenever I'm able to do that, it's like I feel so much better. Like it's such an amazing start to the day to just kind of be in that embodied place, and to just work out whatever's in there. Um,
Hmm.
but I wanna come back to what you were saying before about just the healing nature of song itself, and just remembering that and reconnecting to that. I have talked before on here about, singing in kirtan, that kind of, call and response chanting type of singing that you do in groups that's rooted in the Vedic tradition. And I've also been in ceremony spaces where we also sing and song, and it's amazing to me how healing it feels to be singing with other people, and also just how natural it. when you do it, at least for me, it just immediately feels like, "Oh, yes, like, this is what humans are supposed to do," not like
Mhm.
all the time, but it just feels so natural and it feels so good. It just feels like immediately kind of locking into this memory of the way that we're supposed to be in social relationship to ourselves. And for myself, I can feel, the kind of healing and a peace in my body, usually for some time after engaging in that way. I'm curious how you felt after really doing that for kind of a sustained period of time over the weekend, like how you were kind of feeling in your body and what that experience of memory was.
Yeah, I when you said not all the time, and it's like, why not all the time? No, because these spirituals come from work
Yeah,
songs, and so the people were singing all the time to sustain their energy and
yeah,
to find the rhythm and to keep their spirits up and to also keep hope alive of something different. Right? These are all songs about freedom,
yeah.
and um, I remember I can only remember my fake name for it, Folkback Mountain,
Brokeback
but
Mountain?
that
Oh,
Folkback
the one we
Mountain,
watched. Oh my god, what was
yes,
that called? It was something of
I don't
sound.
know. Yeah,
Something of sound with
it's a
Josh Connor.
yeah, the film with Josh Connor and, that other Irish cutie, uh,
I'm gonna look it up.
and the beauty of their research when they start traveling around, these 2 ethnomusicologists at, the turn of the century or
Yeah,
whenever it
The
was,
History of Sound, that's what it's
the
called.
history of sound are traveling around the Northeast, um, uh, seeking out folk songs, and they come upon these different singers and communities, including Black singers on some island off the coast of somewhere, and I don't know if it's Maine or somewhere in the
Yeah,
Northeast. Um, and the power of that those traditions being passed down through song, and there's sort of the younger woman who they come across, Black woman who sings, but she's surrounded by all these elders who are sort of singing back up for her, so she's always learned these songs from them.
yeah.
And then when he returns to his home, um the other character, not Josh Connor, he he meets that couple that are singers,
Mhm.
right? Who live near him, and how like that singing is just a part of life. People are
I
singing all the
know.
time, and you meet people like that in the streets of Brooklyn, like the
Mhm.
person who just kind of walks around and sings and
Or, like,
brings
musical
delight.
families, Like, I always feel
Musical
so
families,
envious
yeah.
when I see that, like, that music's just a part of life and singing, like, after dinner, someone
Hmm.
just picks up a guitar and sings,
Hmm.
It's just so different
Hmm.
from the way that I grew up. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very different from the way I grew up too, and there's also the energy of bringing that to life. So, when you asked what it's like to sing for days like that, then the energy of the song follows you. So it's funny
Mhm.
because the Barry Center for Buddhist Studies, where this retreat was, is in sort of this larger matrix of retreat complexes in Barry, Massachusetts. So the Insight Meditation Society is up the street, the main retreat center, and then the Forest Refuge, which is right adjacent to BCBS. So you have all these Black people walking around, mostly Black people and other brown people walking around singing, and like there are all these other people on silent retreat, and so but the songs extend out of just this one time and
Yeah.
space because they're buzzing through the body, and so I didn't stop singing just because the session ended. Like I sang on the way to lunch or walking down the street or going for a walk or humming the tune that was last sung in the hall. um and so that rhythm of singing regularly, I think, kind of infuses into the rest of life. And
Mm.
that's true for dance as well. When I'm really into a new album, or for example, lately I've been doing all my workouts to Bad Bunny. and then I want to listen to Bad Bunny and I dance to Bad Bunny and I, and so it's also habit like anything else,
Yeah,
you know, just in the same way our minds can loop into rhythms of anxiety
I don't know what
or
you're talking about.
yeah. Yeah, they can follow these loops of songs and singing and dancing and rhythm. Yeah. So that felt really it was really nice to remember that because
Mm,
the last time I was at this retreat, I was in a lot of pain and I enjoyed it a lot, but I also spent a lot of time crying
mm,
and kind of, splayed out on the floor and so it felt really wonderful to move around more
yeah.
and to have these songs as part of that too.
Mm, yeah, I'm so glad you got to have that experience. Mm.
Yeah, thank you.
I had a similar thing, or I went to kirtan last Sunday, and I don't know, 3, 4, 5 days, the song was just following me around, it was just literally, like,
Mm,
background, background, even while I was doing other things, just there in the background, chanting, chanting, chanting. Um,
mm,
I was also thinking about in terms of vibration, teacher who you and I have both worked with, John Bolia, who's amazing, um, sound healer, but also psychotherapist and man of so many, many talents. And I was thinking,
naturopath, yeah,
naturopath, that's right, as well,
and a musician,
and a musician.
yeah,
And I was thinking about his time. Um, he spent 500 hours in that anechoic chamber at New York University, I think after hearing about it from John Cage, which is kind of akin,
Bellevue, yeah,
just kind of akin to sound deprivation chamber. And him talking about the way that you can actually hear the vibration of your nervous system, right? There's kind of two tones when you sit in there. And one is the vibration, a higher one of your nervous system, and another is lower vibration, which is the vibration of your blood pulsing through your body. And sometimes when I'm feeling particularly anxious, I'll do a practice of trying to like sing the sound that my nervous system is making and then kind of bring it into, which is always like if I'm doing this practice, it's usually like an awful sound, like it's some like unpleasant tone that is being emitted from my nervous system, and then I'll try to bring the tone into a more harmonious sound. Um, and it's interesting. It does seem like it helps. It does seem like it has a therapeutic quality to try to attune and express the vibration that's happening in the nervous system, and then to kind of, you know, like take it up, take it down, kind of harmonize it a little bit.
mm,
So that's something else that was popping into my head as I was thinking about vibration.
mm. Yeah, I've been on longer retreat. I was on a month-long retreat and I was having all sorts of experiences, but at night I could feel and it really is I was hearing it, but I was feeling it. I could feel the tones of my chakras
Mm,
because each chakra has a different
mhm.
tone. And I sensed that my sacral chakra was like kind of it was the one that wasn't coming through as clear. When I
Mm.
came back, I was meeting with my naturopath, who's a very kooky lady, and she was like, "Yeah, your chakras are so much more clear now, except your sacral chakra."
There you go.
Yeah.
Tuning right in.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I love that
Yeah.
idea, right, that there are seed sounds for each chakra, right? Kind of those seed sounds
Mhm.
that you sing to kind of attune to or kind of, um, clarify the tone of those
Yeah. Yeah, I've
chakras.
never been able to access that again. It was a particular,
Mm,
you know, there was doing a lot of chanting and devotional practices and a lot of sitting on that retreat. And
Mm.
besides, I was in the mountains of South Africa, so the Drakensberg Mountains. So
Mhm.
very particular situation to be able to access that. I'm not
Right.
trying to like brag. There were many factors contributing to that capacity. It's not like an innate capacity I have.
I wasn't experiencing it as bragging. But, I have the one crystal bowl that I have is attuned to D sharp, which I'm told is supposed to be attuned to the sacral chakra. So,
Mm,
I'm coming to visit you soon. Maybe I should bring it. We
mhm.
can play with it. It's very beautiful, beautiful
Cool.
tone to that bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really for me, uh, after spending years chanting in Pali and Sanskrit and other languages to sing these songs written in English. And so to really be able to also feel into the power, the vibration of certain words that sometimes we would just naturally change the words of the song to suit ourselves because they're very Christian in nature. And I noticed that sometimes the changing the word actually changed the quality of the vibration of the song,
Mhm.
and that, it actually felt better to say Lord, or, some word that maybe isn't comfortable
Mhm.
intellectually, but in terms of vibration, it actually had a different quality.
Mhm.
But these songs of freedom are really meaningful, to I had a practice during this retreat, which I don't think I did last. I mean, it's not that I didn't consider my ancestors last time, but I was singing to my uh, ancestors, particularly the women ancestors. So to my mother and her sisters and my grandmothers and my great grandmother, who I'm named after, and my aunts on my dad's side, my
Mm.
dad's sisters, and it was so powerful to directly sing certain songs to them,
Mm.
both like as an offering and as an honoring.
Mhm.
And there were, really, I had very powerful vibratory, like bodily experiences from that. Just,
Mm.
the somatic kind of freedom I felt as I did that was quite special.
Mm. That's so beautiful.
Mm.
I don't know if it's something that you would be comfortable sharing, and it's fine if not. Were there any particular lines of songs that really stayed with you or felt really resonant in the moment?
There were certain songs, but it really was the quality of, um, for example, "Lay My Burdens Down." It's like a
Mhm.
a line that shows up in different songs, and
Yeah.
"Oh, Freedom" shows up over and over again in different
Mhm.
songs, and so it was really the quality of the message, and that's
Yeah.
what I mean by actually singing in English and
Right.
knowing what the words mean, and it's not so much the complexity of the message, but it's just, like, over and over again,
Mhm. Mhm.
and
And you're
not.
singing it, like, you're not reading it, you're not hearing it, you are hearing it, but
Mhm.
you're
And
embodying it.
the Yeah, and I find that, a lot of, the chanting I've done in Pali and Sanskrit have been, teachings or in honoring of certain qualities of, gods or goddesses, or, um but these messages are directly related because they're directly related to the situation of enslaved people.
Mhm.
I could translate it to, like, I was really feeling it as, like, the ways I enslaved myself within systems and within my own conditioning and my
Yeah.
own mind, and then singing that way, like,
Mhm.
singing as not sort of this codified teaching and not towards, like, a deity,
Right, very
but actually
directly.
as direct messages to myself, to my
Yeah.
ancestors, for us, and then for the community, right?
Yeah.
Because we were singing together. It's really powerful. I
Mm.
really appreciate the way these teachers, Dr. Harris and Joshua have um, made this link,
Mhm.
this link between freedom teachings,
Yeah.
liberation teachings.
Yeah. Sounds so beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've been listening to a lot of Black spirituals since I got home, which is the same thing I did last time. But really looking forward to ways to continue this.
Mhm.
Our mutual friend Shauna Wakefield, she after the last time started a singing circle,
Oh, that was after the
which
last one? Cool.
which hasn't happened in a little while, but I'm looking forward to those again. And actually, we'll be together when out in Cortez Island at Hollyhock Retreat Center, and she'll be offering some songs for that retreat. And so, yeah, really looking forward to engaging more music in whatever I do,
Mm. Yeah, so good.
including Naomi just texted me and let me know that the Sound of Music sing along happens in various cities across the country.
No. I'll
Yeah,
have to
so
look
now
it
we're
up.
trying to plan a girls' trip for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So for listeners who have not listened to every single episode of Cosmic Clowns, I believe it was in our year-end review, uh, in that we maybe published in December of last year. Sebene talked at length about the beauty of attending a Sound of Music sing along at the Henry Ford Theater in Los Angeles. Really sweet,
Mhm,
sweet story.
mhm.
Yeah, and I would,
Highly recommend.
yeah, would
It's
love
it's
to do
not
that.
only the Hollywood Bowl, it's happening in Vienna, Virginia, at Wolf Trap, um, and various other places I can't
Maybe if we can find a link, we'll put it in the show notes.
remember.
Anything else coming up for you around vibes, music, song, ancestors that you think it would be worthwhile to touch into before we wrap up?
I don't know, I like the idea. I mean, I'm not one to try and, like, tell people what to do, but if people are open to it, maybe try singing to your ancestors.
Mm,
A song they might like. That's something I encourage in Ancestors to Elements. It's like
mm,
finding music that your ancestors would connect to.
mhm, mhm.
Um, but singing any song that you think would be a sweet message to honor and, um, yeah, connect with them.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I was thinking about that as I was listening to you, and I think I might have mentioned to you recently that I was talking with a friend about, um, her practice of communicating with her ancestors and, trying to tune into a type of offering that you could make to them in a regular way to do any kind of healing that, you know, might need tending, and that's such a beautiful, beautiful way to undertake it, is to sing to
Hmm.
them. Who doesn't
Cool.
like to be sung to?
Yeah, exactly. We haven't done a what we're enjoying right now in a while. Do you wanna share anything that is
Mm. Well, I will name check someone who you have mentioned in a past episode. I just listened to, Josh Johnson, who I know you're a fan of,
yeah.
on the Talk Easy podcast with Sam
Mhm,
Fragoso.
mhm,
Um, and he's a comedian, for those who don't know, and yeah, his observations and reflections were just so funny, but I mean, also just so deep and astute. Yeah, he was making some commentaries on the way that we kind of talk about violence and the things that we do or do not describe as violent and the things that are actually violent that are much more subtle, kind of happening underneath the surface. Yeah, he just had so many amazing points that he made. So I'm enjoying that. And I was also just picking up actually the one of the collections of Rumi that you gave me, the one that's focused on water.
mm.
The what's her name? Gaforzi translation, which is so beautiful. And they're just so focused on love and releasing suffering and, you know, dancing under the moon and appreciating the
Mm,
nectar of life. And I did, kind of an oracle opening to one the other day, and it just kind of like perfectly, just perfectly kind of hit what was going on and was like,
mm.
and redirect your attention in this way.
That's great.
Um, yeah, so comedy, right? Music, comedy,
Mm.
poetry, always. What about you?
I went to a comedy show the other night actually, and I met this Ethiopian kid in the neighborhood the other day. Uh, we could recognize each other, and so he just came up to me on the street, and he has a monthly comedy night around the corner from me, like literally a block away,
Oh my
at this
gosh.
kind of funny new space that is just sort of hosts different events. And
Mhm.
so my friend Dalila was in town, and we went the other night, and it was really great. It was really fun to just I hadn't been to a comedy show in so long. Actually, I went in December with Peter when he was here, but, this felt very homegrown,
Yeah.
it's a lot of
Yeah.
young comics, and there was one woman, I don't remember her name, but she was hilarious. Like, just we were dying quoting her all night, and, yeah, so that was really unexpected, to
Oh
have
my
something in
god.
the neighborhood
It's like
and
the
so easy
sweetest
to
little
get home from.
story.
Yeah, a block away, so, yay for neighborhood things.
Yay
Yeah.
for neighborhood things.
Mm.
Well, maybe we will wrap it up there.
Yeah, and just let people know if you've hung in this long,
Thank you.
we've been a little consistent with our second, season-ish, um, but we'll be taking a break because 'cause I'm gonna be traveling for a little while, and, yeah, we hope you enjoyed this show, and please like and rate and review, and take care of yourselves.
Yes.
I hope you find the comedy and the cosmic and all of what's going on, and until next time, we leave you with this moment of clown. So it's also, habit like anything else,
Yeah,
you know, that just in the same way our minds can loop into rhythms of anxiety
I don't know what
or,
you're talking about.
yeah. Yeah, they can follow these loops of songs and singing and dancing and rhythm.